Well, it's early morning, it's cold outside, and yet I'm still sweaty, which can mean only one thing. Uh, it's Thursday. I don't know. But just got some thoughts this morning. I don't know why, but I went on a Hugh Jackman singing rant this morning. So, there's Les Mis. He's incredible in Les Mis, and that's a really great story about redemption. It's a great story about the value of forgiving one crime in one person's life. I mean, if you watch Les Mis and realize that the whole story starts when the bishop forgives Jean Valjean. If you look at that, it says not dishwasher safe, not microwave safe, which means you gotta drink it hot. But after the bishop forgives Jean Valjean, that's when the story really starts, because Jean Valjean starts trying to earn his redemption. And he discovers in the end that there's nothing that he can do to earn redemption. But there's a lot you can do to learn to love, to live a good life. But there's this really sweet moment at the very end when he's looking at his life and he's saying, "I did my best, please take me home." And that part just, it gets me every time listening to it, because it's one of the most honest human things in the entire world. Is you look at what's going to happen at the end of your life, and you're just going to say, "Dear God, I think I'm done." And that's why I'm actually talking this morning. We're going to start doing reopening operations soon, and so these videos for my community aren't going to be as necessary. But for some members of our community, we're not going to see you guys for a while, and so that's the reason why I keep doing these. But I was just struck this morning with a thought, and that's that at some point in time we just want to go home. We want to come home. 2 years and a couple months ago, 2.5 years ago, I guess. I don't know how old Judah is now. We were given a phone call on a Saturday that we needed to bring Leo in because he had been diagnosed with leukemia. And it wasn't like we didn't have anything else going on in our lives at that point in time. We were actually more desperately busy than we'd ever been in our entire lives. Sorry. I'm not going to edit that out. Don't have the time today. But we had some incredible people surrounding us. I mean, some incredible people surrounding us. And three of those families met us at the house where our kids were going to be staying. And it was our pastor and very close friend. It was Desiree's best friend. And it was one of the champions of our community, and they were all there. They all lived kind of in the same area anyway, but they all gathered around. And like that support, that closeness, that knowing that so many people had our backs was huge. But I remember when we got there, and I was holding Leo in my arms, trying to get him back into the van again. I was singing this song from The Greatest Showman from the very end, From Now On. And there's this refrain, and we will come back home, and we will come back home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And I was just bouncing along, just trying to keep him in good spirits, and he had no idea what was going on. And the truth of the matter, what was going on there is that we were never going to come back home. Not to home as it had ever been. But we were eventually going to go back home to what home was going to be. And it was home for a new normal for us, and we were supplied by God with everything that we needed. We were supplied by God for everything that we could ask for. The friends that we needed close by us, we had the resources, we had the health care, we had good doctors, and we had time. We had everything we needed. I've come back to that song a couple times since then, the From Now On song, because it's sort of one of those like, hey, I need my people again kind of songs. And when you've lived the kind of life that I have, the concept of my people is really hard because they're everywhere. I mean, they're the four corners of the earth. If the earth had actual legitimate corners, they would literally be at every one of those corners and at every point in between. I've got people everywhere. And there are times when I just want to be around them. There are times when I just want to come home. These are hard times. I saw a real honest post from a friend of mine last night who is a strong man. And he said that he had rewritten his post several times, and it ended up being a real short statement, which is, I'm tired. Maybe one of the most comforting things I've ever seen in Scripture is the fact that Jesus talked about there's a place for us, that he's making a place for us. In my Father's house there are many rooms. If there wasn't, I wouldn't have said so. If I go there and I make a place for you. There are some days I'm more homesick for that concept than others, and this week has been that week for me. I have friends who have lost friends. Our community has lost people that I haven't really even known all that much, except for just knowing their name, knowing their faces, and missing their smiles. And truly, there's not really going to be a time when we get to be around our whole family again until we're all called up into the sky, when we finally get to go home. It's weird being homesick for a place I've never seen, but I've experienced it one moment at a time, one relationship at a time, one heart at a time. And I miss you guys. All of you. I know some of you guys have your hearts breaking right now too. Just know that there's a place that we get to go home someday. And it'll be a good place.